Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Celebrate Sausage. Today, we are going to be taking a trip, culinarily speaking, to Germany to make a sausage called Leberwurst. Stay tuned. Leberwurst is a German sausage that's broken up into two words. The word Leber means liver in German, and Wurst means sausage. Leberwurst literally translates to liver sausage. And this particular liver sausage is emulsified, and the emulsification happens because of the protein that's extracted from the liver that creates a bond between the fat and the water. You can either put it in casings or you can put it in jars where you will then poach it so that it can set properly. In Germany, Leberwurst is made without the use of any cures typically. This is going to leave you with a product that's slightly grayish. What I wanted was a Leberwurst that was more on the pink side with a slightly longer shelf life. So what we did in order to achieve that was we added Instacure #1 to our meat one day before we decided to cook it. That's going to preserve the color of our meat. Now, that is totally optional, and it's obviously not traditional, but it does give you a nicer pinker color with a slightly longer shelf life. With that being said, let me show you how we made Leberwurst.
To get started with our Leberwurst, we are going to soak our fresh pork liver in some cool water for a couple of hours. About halfway through, I'm going to change the water out and add new water, and this is going to help pull any excess blood from the liver. Once we've done that, here's what we're working with. I've got my pork belly that was cured overnight and my liver that's been drained of any blood. We're going to take the liver, put it in our blender, and turn that into a completely smooth puree. Once done, this is what that's going to look like. On the stovetop, we're going to go ahead and just gently simmer our pork belly for about 30 minutes. Notice I'm not cooking my liver. The reason I'm not cooking the liver is because I don't want to lose any of the proteins that are in the liver that are going to act as the emulsifying agents between the fat and the water. Now that our pork belly is done cooking, we're going to grind that on a 3mm plate, and don't throw away that cooking stock. We're going to use it later in this recipe. Now that our meat is ground, let's cook some onions. So with a little bit of oil and a touch of salt, cook your onions until they start to take on a little bit of color. Next, take all of those onions and put them into your blender, and we're going to blend this into a smooth puree as well. We're going to add a little bit of that cooking stock that we reserved. The recipe will be in the description box below. And we're going to blend this until we have a very smooth-like consistency with our onions. We want a very silky texture with this Leberwurst. So once we've done that, we're going to go ahead and chill all of our ingredients. We don't want to mix anything while it's hot. Here's our pork belly. It's partially frozen, and we're going to go ahead and add our pureed liver to it. Now, our liver is raw, and this liver contains a lot of proteins that are going to help bind the water and the fat together, which is going to create a beautiful emulsion. In our food processor, we're going to begin by adding our liver and ground pork, and I'm going to turn my food processor on. After about 20 seconds, I'm going to add my cream and my onion and stock mixture that's been chilled. That's going to bring the temperature down. It's going to create a very smooth, velvety-like consistency. And at this point, my Leberwurst should be almost finished. It should be smooth to the touch. And now it's time to add our seasonings. Now, once we add our seasonings, we're going to go ahead and cut this on for another 20 or 30 seconds. And at this point, it's time to cook our Leberwurst. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in some mason jars and gently tap it on a towel on your table. This is going to get rid of most of the air pockets. Once the lids are on, it's time to cook these. We're going to cook these sous vide at 176 degrees Fahrenheit. And the rule of thumb is you're going to cook it for 1 minute for every millimeter that your container is wide. These are roughly 60mm containers. So we're going to cook these for 60 minutes. And the same tip applies for sausages as well. Cool your Leberwurst down in lukewarm water before you add ice. This is going to keep the jars from cracking, but once you get your Leberwurst completely cooled down, I like to refrigerate mine overnight. It's going to firm it up a little bit better, and it's time to open it up and eat it. Our Leberwurst has a nice pink color, which is really more for aesthetics and slight preservation. It doesn't affect the flavor too much. And now we're just going to spread this on some fresh bread to give it a nice taste. And I know some of you out there may be thinking, you know what? I'm not a fan of liver. I'm definitely going to skip this recipe. And look, I totally get where you're coming from. What I like about this recipe is that although the liver is there, it's not overpowering. As I'm taking a bite right now, there's a beautiful balance. There's a nice richness from the cream, the thyme, and the marjoram are coming through. The mace adds just a nice undertone, and it's really quite delicious. I hope you get a chance to try this liver sausage.
And that's how we made Leberwurst. There's going to be a recipe in the description box below. And if you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section. In the recipe, I'm going to put both methods, the more traditional German way of making it without using any cure, and the version that you saw here in the event that you would like to prolong the shelf life with a slightly pinker color. Thanks again for watching. Tomorrow, same time, same place, we've got a brand new sausage video and recipe, and this particular recipe is going to be a little different than the other ones. We'll hope to see you then. Bye-bye.